And this year, Kempton Park has beaten the weather just. It's pretty cold, and winter's grip has taken out all the other meetings on turf. But Kempton's Patemps-sponsored Boxing Day programme will go on, and that should mean a top-of-the-bill clash in the King George itself. Rough Quest, the Grand National winner. He comes to take on one man, the winner in last year's King George. That's the Pride of Cumberland versus the Star of Surrey, but only if Rough Quest connections are satisfied with the ground. There's some frost in it after the 110 race today. And up against some Barton Bank. Clear went 42 years ago, following a brilliant success in '93.
Here comes Bradbury Star on the stand side to come and leap the final fence in the lead, but Barton Bank won't be denied. The fellow, the Frenchman's cook. But it's Barton Bank and Bradbury Star doing battle as they race up towards the line. Barton Bank digging deep, holding on. Bradbury Star, one more challenge. Not enough.
He was miles clear, wasn't he, the next year when he tipped up at the last, and he's in again today. His jumping isn't any safer, but he's a good horse. It's a terrific race to look forward to. But no King George will be complete without the horse who made the race his own. Dessie was back, 4 times a winner in the past. Dessie was back, and some adoring fans in the paddock with him.
And a whopping Christmas crowd, absolutely humming after a pulsating Titanic cracker of a finish to the first. We'll be showing you that later. For bookmakers, have had their first Christmas present, no longer the dead 8. For each way backers, 1, 2, 3 in the King George. Trying again is already out. 1 or 2 might possibly go before the race starts. So the each way backers, although if you backed anti-post, you get paid on 1, 2, 3. And bookmakers in Ireland gave one man a real Christmas present, 6-4 at one time, with Sound Man, the 2-mile champion, as a possible. But now on the tissue, they're asking for odds 13-8 on. They're putting the price. That's against one man, with Burlington Bertie 100-30 against Rough Quest. They're the top 2 in the betting. It's then 7-1 Strong Promise, 10-1 against Barton Bank, 16-1 Mr Mulligan, and Nathan Ladd 16 and 25-1. Couldn't be better. But can one man give Richard Dunwoody a record-breaking 4 King Georges? All of them will have been on greys, of course. One man twice if he can win, and the great Desert Orchid. Can Richard Dunwoody do it for the 4th time?
But it's not just the King George that this massive crowd have come to watch today, because we've got some superb supporting races that have attracted some leading players. And who knows, we could have a future King George winner in our first live race this afternoon, the Novice Chase at 110, where Seymour Business and Fine Tyne are both absentees. And this means that the probable favourite here is going to be Ard Wolf, owned by Nigel Dempster's wife. He comes here with 2 wins from 2 races. He's onto the hat-trick Graham Bradley rides. In the hurdle race at 140, Che Yo goes for his 4th win of the season. But can he defy a £20 hike up the handicap? And then in the 245, Greenback, a former winner of the Channel 4 Trophy, goes for his 11th win in 21 races.
We also have the big race from Ireland live at 240. That's the Denny Gold Medal Chase, and at least 2 fascinating aspects to it. Firstly, Dunwoody. Dunwoody, the pride of Ireland over hurdles, but over fences he hasn't looked very safe. This was him at Farry House last time, early on, 4th fence. He got too close to it, didn't put his undercarriage down. There is a problem still with Dunwoody. It needs to be put right today. And Land Afar, can he produce his brilliant hurdle race form over fences after 2 slightly hesitant attempts so far? That, as we say, live at 240 from Leopardstown after the King George. And we have 4 races for you. Officially good to firm. It was quite frozen early on, but it's come out at the ground a little bit. It's pretty cold at the moment. As you can see, we start off with some non-runners in the first race. We won 110. There's 2 non-runners there. There'll be 5 runners in the Feltham Novices Chase. 6 go in the Network Personnel Handicap Hurdle at 140. Trying again is out of the King George. At least 7 there in the Patemps King George. And our last race at 245, we've got 4 left in there at the moment.
Well, favourites on average win about 1/3 of races throughout the whole season. but these races on Channel 4 here at Kempton have not been good Christmas presents for the bookmakers. Look at the record of favourites in our 4 races, and they've been absolutely tremendous. They have been down the years. Bookmakers have been paying out like Santa Claus, giving money to the punters. In our first race, 11 favourites from 22 runnings have won it. In the 140, 10 from 23. In the King George, 10 from 23. This is since 1970. And the 245, 10 from 20. So 41 favourites from 88 races. That's 47% of favourites have won the 4 Channel 4 races. And on the market movers, there's only one market mover today, and that's I'll Be Mine in the 140, but there is now 2 late non-runners there. Number 1, Thinking Twice, is out, and number 4, Into Magic. 1, Thinking Twice, 4, Into Magic, non-runners now in the 140. I'll Be Mine was back from 3 to 1 into 2 to 1. He's now 6 to 4, I'll Be Mine, with 11 to 10 favourite against Chayo. So 1 market mover today, that is I'll Be Mine in the 140. And coming up here, they put Ard Wolf in, the 7 to 4 favourite, with 3 to 1 Backhouse Boy and 3 to 1 Hatcham Boy, 4 to 1 Solomon's Dancer, and 6 to 1 Jeddah. And as Thomas said, Ard Wolf, owned by the Daily Mail gossip columnist Nigel Dempster and his wife. The whisper, the gossip round the course is that Ard Wolf will outjump these.
Yeah, and do watch out for how they handle the ground in this chase. It's going to be crucial to the decision on Rough Quest, because there is a little bit of frost around. I can tell you it's very, very cold, as you know, and if horses skid at all, one of you guarantees that Rough Quest will come out, because they are very worried about obviously risking him. He doesn't particularly like firm ground if it does look as if it's hardened up. But champion tips, the details now from Simon.
Yes, 4 live races this afternoon beginning at 1:10 soon. 3 selections per race required. Points scored according to starting prices, as usual, by all finishers in the first 3. Not too many runners here at Kempton today, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Highest aggregate total wins £5 per point. The number to call is 0891 991148. 0891 991148.
It's a place to get away to after the turkey of yesterday. Kempton Park, tremendous chasing crowd come here, and it's a terrific highlight, the King George, even if Rough Quest doesn't run, because one man is here, Barton Bank's here. It's a tremendous race, and a great view here, looking out across Kempton. But let's see the people who've decided they don't think they should risk their horses. A full list from Simon.
In the earlier race, which we'll show you a bit later on, the 1240, there were 5 absentees there: Dane Gold, Fionan's Flutter, Night Flare, Nordance Prince and Palladium Boy. In our first live race, the 110, number 4 Fine Time, and number 6 Seymour Business, they're both out. In the 140, number 1 Thinking Twice and number 4 Into Magic, they're non-runners. In the 215, that's the Potemps King George VI Chase. Number 8 Trying Again is definitely out, and we await a decision, of course, on Rough Quest. And the later race, the 315, after we're off the air, number 8 Nick the Beak is an absentee there.
There's Ard Wolf walking around ready for his duty. He's had just 2 runs over fences, won both times, and buckled down really well last time out at Sandown.
They make the final turn, and Ard Wolf travelling well. Major Summit within half a length as they come down towards the second last. Hill of Tello is left behind in the rush to the line. This is the second last. Ard Wolf joined on the inside by Major Summit. 1 more fence to take. And at the rear of the 3 remaining, Hill of Tello makes a mistake. Coming down towards the final fence, white colours, Major Summit, black cap. That's Ard Wolf. This is the last, and it's Ard Wolf that jumps the better, gets away the better. But Major Summit is staying on Dolly up the hill. However, Ard Wolf has the answers. Major Summit is trying to rally and is doing so. As they race up towards the line, it's going to be very close. This Ard Wolf just from Major Summit at the line. It's going to be close on the nod. Ard Wolf beats Major Summit.
I liked his attitude at the end there, and another part of his education going round Kempton now. Let's have a full list of the runners and riders from Graham Good.
And there are 19 fences to jump. Number 1 is Ard Wolf, the 9 to 4 favourite. Graham Bradley, Backhouse Boy, trades at 3 to 1 from out of Chris Moore. The French raider, Jeddah, is 5 to 1. Adam Conrad rides. Fine Time sadly doesn't take part, but Hatcham Boy does. That's the man of Adrian Maguire, number 5 on the card, trained by David Nicholson, and 130 in the ring. Seymour Business doesn't run, but Solomon's Dancer, 5 to 1 for Richard Dunwoody and the one-man team.
And watching them on this shivery whole day. John Oaksey, and first, happy Boxing Day to John Franklin.
Your afternoon, Bruff, and although Fine Time and Seymour Business don't take part here, it certainly hasn't made the race any less interesting. Some really good horses in here. Only 5 of them going to post, but you'd be hard-pressed to name a winner, and plenty of class as well. Hard Wolf, we've just seen him winning. I thought that was one of the riding performances of the season from Graham Bradley. That was his first step up in distance. He went from 2 miles to 3 miles in one go, got every yard of the running at Sandown. He'll be bowling along, making the run in here. I was really impressed with the way that he travelled and the way that he jumped at Sandown. Got a lot to like about him. And his owner, Nigel Dempster, is down talking to Derek.
Yep, Nigel, I mean, we'll read you in the Daily Mail. I mean, what's the inside word on Ardwolf? You must be happy that 2 of the leading rivals have come out.
I didn't actually fear either of them, and I said to Mike Dillon at Ascot last Saturday that I'd see off Seymour Business, and I didn't quite mean to see it off in this style, but I think this is a very good horse. I don't know about the going. He had a slightly dodgy back end to last season, but he's on his 2nd hat-trick of his career, and I'm very hopeful, and we've got the best jockey, got the best trainer, and a bloody good owner, if I might say so.
Who is your wife, of course.
And but myself.
And there are a few other people involved. I noticed you had quite a star-studded selection, the Parade Ring. Who was with you?
Well, John Leach, who's Sheikh Mohammed's right-hand man, who got me the horse. And, of course, he's invited Rod Stewart and Rachel's sister Jackie, so there's room for you, Tom. Oh, no, sorry, you're a married man.
Thank you, Nigel.
And, of course, the great racing figure, Mr. Charles Benson.
And what is it about this race meeting at Kempton? I mean, we've all enjoyed ourselves on Christmas Day, but this is special, isn't it, Boxing Day?
It's more than that. It's a vast crowd. They're all extremely keen. They know about racing. Those who don't are enjoying themselves. And I think it's just a wonderful day out. And, of course, touch wood, it's going to be an even better day in about 7 minutes' time.
I might see you here in the winners' enclosure. Good luck, Nigel.
Thank you, Tomo. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, there's somewhere from which to fall. Brave words from Nigel Dempster, but got every chance. Hard Wolf. Hatcham Boy's another who made a very impressive debut. Didn't win by far, but he beat some good horses. And Welcome Call, who was second to him at Newbury.
He seemed to have thrown that race away, didn't he, John?
Well, he did. He jumped badly left, which makes you wonder why he's actually running here going right-handed. But anyway, he didn't actually start jumping left-handed until later on in the race. But the 3rd horse, Wisley Wonder, a useful horse, and I know he dropped himself out a little bit at Newbury, but he still came back with every chance. Yet to beat a real exposed top-class horse, but I think those 2 novices, Welcome Call and Wisley Wonder, I know both trainers gave little bits niggling excuses for why they hadn't won at Newbury. The fact remains this horse did win. It was his first run of the season, and he really buckled down to it. He looked like he was going to get run over from the last, and really stuck his head out. Plenty to recommend him. Let's have a look at the betting now.
Favourite is Hard Wolf at 9-4. Buckhouse Boy showing at 130 from 3-1. Hatcham Boy at 7-2, and then on 9-2 Jeddah and Solomon's Dance. And the favourite Hard Wolf has now gone 5-2 from 9-4.
So the betting of this race tells you everything. 5-2 favourite in a 5-runner race. And Buckhouse Boy tipped up at the 8th at Lingfield last time out. First time up at Chepstow. He was probably a little bit disappointing, but the ground there was slightly sticky. It doesn't always suit all horses. And then when he won at Newbury, beat 1 or 2 useful types, absolutely pulling a train. He's a horse I've always liked, and he's capable of winning a race like this.
A very good novice hurdler he trained into last year, but he has got that fall last time out to forget.
Well, our eye catcher is the French horse Jeddah. Patrick Mullen, who looks after Solomon's Dancer, has won the prize for the best turned out, but it was Jeddah who just nicked it for us. And Solomon's Dancer did get the nod, though, from Graham on the way to the post. And surprisingly, or not really too surprisingly, there was money for him down in the betting ring. Easy to back Hatcham Boy, but Jeddah, we've seen it time and time again with these horses coming over from France, trained by Francois Dumas. He doesn't bring them over for the benefit of their health. There's a couple of King George winners will testify, and Max got news of him.
Well, as you say, greatest jockey, what do the French come over here for? Francois Dumas with a fellow and Algan, Napsala and Valdelaine, and the punters have cottoned on that he is really the man for Kempton, especially on Boxing Day. Jeddah is in from 6-1 into on the shoulders, 9-2, and some bookmakers are calling 4-1 Jeddah with 5-2 Ardwolf. Jeddah's the one in the betting ring.
And just late news in, I've just talked to Jenny Pittman. Narthen Lad will not run in the King George. Narthen Lad, Jenny Pittman's runner, does not run in the King George, and neither does Trying Again. The ground here has got frost in it, particularly over the crossings. Let's watch how they get on.
And we can fully expect Ardwolf to make the running here. Solomon's Dancer often goes with the pace that's in the yellow colours. That's it. Away they go then, and they've got 3 miles in front of them. And it is indeed Ardwolf leading, coming down to the first of the 19 they jump. Ardwolf in the lead to Solomon's Dancer, Jeddah, Buckhouse Boy. Those 3 rise in the air together at the first. And the back marker is just Hatcham Boy. Come down towards the second. This is an open ditch. And coming into it, it's Ardwolf on the inside of Buckhouse Boy, and then Jeddah, followed by Solomon's Dancer. And the back marker is Hatcham Boy. Make a right-handed turn then, and a line of 4 fences confronts them on this stretch of the track, and it's the bold front-running Ardwolf, clear by about 3 to 4 lengths. To Buckhouse Boy in second, then Jeddah on the inside, followed by Solomon's Dancer and Hatcham Boy. So it's Graham Bradley in the lead. An eventful ride in the first race. His mount got loose going down to the start. They come down towards fence number 3. Ardwolf pops over in the lead to Jeddah in second place. Buckhouse Boy wide on the course in the white jacket. This is an open ditcher coming to you now. Fence number 4. Ardwolf leading to Jeddah in second place, and on the inside Solomon's Dancer wide. Buckhouse Boy and Hatcham Boy still at the back of the pack. Ardwolf bowling along in front. Next claim one. Got a little bit close there. Others safe. Jeddah in second place now as they come to the final fence on this stretch of the track. To the 6th. Hatcham Boy has parted company there with Adrian Maguire. The horse is okay, and Adrian's just getting to his feet now. So just the 4 left then in this Potemps Recruitment Partnership Feltham Novices Chase. It's a Grade 1 event. It's £35,000 in prize money. And it's Ardwolf who leads. Ardwolf has the edge to Jeddah in second, and then Solomon's Dancer and Buckhouse Boy. It's the 7th, no change. Ardwolf cleared by 3 to Jeddah in second place. Then Solomon's Dancer sharing third. And we had another faller there. That was Buckhouse Boy. Horse and jockey are okay. This will try to catch the horse, get a lift back, but he's missed it. Just 3 left then. And a tremendous crowd here at Kempton Park, seeing just the 3 runners left in this Potemps Recruitment Partnership Feltham Novices Chase, with Ardwolf leading by 3 parts of a length to Solomon's Dancer in second, and then Jeddah on the inside in third. Race away out into the country. This is the water jump, and it's Ardwolf who leads coming into it. Gets a good jump there, just quickens the game a little bit. Solomon's Dancer in second, then Jeddah in third. To the 11th. Plain fence this one. Ardwolf to Jeddah, the outside of Solomon's Dancer. 2 more open ditches to take, and the one they're coming to now is one of them. And 3 in the air together there. Ardwolf the inside of Jeddah, and then Solomon's Dancer. And so as they swing towards the back straight, with about a mile left to race, 7 more fences to jump. Let's check the SPs. Ardwolf, the 9-4 favourite, leads. Buckhouse Boy is out of the race, so too Hatcham Boy, and the other 2 at 9-2. So it's Ardwolf at 9-4, but boys, would you take 9-4 at this stage?
Well, we know that Ardwolf is a battler. We saw him fighting his way back at Sandown, so And although at the moment the other two are both going well, a couple of lengths behind him, they may have a fight on their hands to get past him. Jeddah jumping with, well, as a matter of fact, he almost immediately made a little bit of a mistake there, but he had been jumping very neatly and economically, as the French horses often do.
Yeah, he'd been travelling really well as too. I was surprised that he just gave him a backhand and may just get his mind back on the job, but there's no doubt that he's jumped really well apart from that first mistake there. But at this stage, you've got to say that Hard Wolf has got plenty on his plate. Solomon's Dancer, probably a little bit more experience, but as partisan as I am, it'd be quite nice for the French horse to be in there with a shout.
Well, he's in with every chance, shares the lead with Solomon's Dancer, but Hard Wolf, we know he's a battler, a tough horse, but he's back in third place at the moment as they start the final turn. Just 3 more fences to jump. Yellow, Solomon's Dancer, and Richard Dunwoody looks across there to see Adam Conrad on Jeddah. Stride for stride they are. Hard Wolf is back in third place, but they've still got 3 to jump, and it's Jeddah that goes into the lead just. Jeddah in the lead. Hard Wolf makes a mistake there. That takes surely the stuffing out of him. They've got 2 to jump. And it's Jeddah, Solomon's Dancer, stride for stride. This is 2 out. They're in the air together. Jeddah just the quicker. Solomon's Dancer the far side. Hard Wolf back in third and trying to close. And now Richard Dunwoody asks Solomon's Dancer for more. There doesn't seem to be that much more. They come down towards the final fight. And a fence, and it's Jeddah who just has it. And then in second place, Solomon's Dancer. But Hard Wolf is rallying. And they're all back to the board. Jeddah, Solomon's Dancer, Hard Wolf. Jeddah's just quickening the better. At the line, Jeddah takes it. Jeddah, Solomon's Dancer, Hard Wolf for 1, 2, 3. And so an eventful opener here. The Channel 4 viewers in this Pretemps Recruitment Partnership Feldman Novices Chase. But it's gone to the French in the shape of number 3, Jeddah, in the colours of Monsieur Stella Elkaim, trained by Francois Dumont, ridden by Adam Conrad. The 92 chance, of course, the Conrad and Dumont team. 1-2, King George is here with the fellow. Second horse home is number 1, Solomon's Dancer, Richard Dunwoody. And third, and at the line, a very close third too, was Hard Wolf in the colours of Lady Camilla Dempsey, trained by Charlie Brooks and ridden by Graham Bradley, who really galvanised the horse from the last. But our winner here is number 3, Jeddah. The French have scored.
And vive la France, Jeddah has landed quite a touch for the Gallic Raiders. It did touch 7-1 on the course, 6-1 generally, crashed down to 9-2, and most bookmakers, as the flag went up, were offering 4-1, but enough went 9-2 for that to be the return. The joint outsider with the runner-up Solomon's Dancer also returned at 9-2. Hard Wolf was third at 9-4 favourite, but Jeddah and Francois Dumas, so many people now have cottoned on. He doesn't come over here for nothing. He likes his Christmas like everybody else. He would like to be in Paris, but instead he's here at Kempton plundering again. And after the Fellow and Algan and Val de Lane and Nupsala, we've got another one here. Jeddah, 7-1 it touched into On the Shoulders, 9-2. I hope you joined in. Vive la France!
Well, given a really professional ride there from Adam Conrad. I'm sure that in an ideal world he didn't actually want to hit the front too soon, but as you saw as we joined him on the far side, he made a couple of little mistakes and was realising that all this horse was going to do was keep galloping. He's never won further than 2 mile 4 before in his life. He's been actually out of form just recently. He's been running on really soft ground, but given a very confident ride.
I'm just walking in here with Richard Dunwoody. I want to get his first reaction on the ground. What do you want to know?
Quick ground, Derek. Yep. This horse has handled it okay, but
yeah,
it's pretty fast out there. It's you know, it's borderline, but we're racing. It's fine.
And there's no frost in there, is there?
Little bits here and there.
But is it dangerous? It's okay.
Well, certainly if you had a horse with problems, that's had leg problems, you certainly think twice about running it.
Thank you, Richard.
Well, a couple of words there from Richard Dunwoody, and he'll be hoping and praying that Terry Case is listening to that, and the owners of Rough Quest, I'm sure. He'd have thought a lot further than just that interview, but Let's get back to this horse, Jeddah. Such a really good type of horse he brings over here, Francois Dumas. They all seem wonderfully relaxed. They all jump well. And a really top-class trainer. Certainly got to know your onions. And to send a horse over here that hasn't run the trip before. He knew that he wanted fast ground, but he said before and didn't know just whether he was good enough or not. Picking them up just as they turn for home. These 3 fences in the straight, absolutely critical. And Richard Dunwoody, just giving his horse a slap down the shoulder there, actually knew that there wasn't too much left in the locker. He was trying to get this horse running, whereas the winner, Jeddah, ears prick, met that one absolutely spot on. Ardwolf's done well to run on to get closer to them in the end, but going to the last, we get this angle, and you'll see that the winner actually gets in a little bit close to the fence. It gives the horse on the far side, Solomon's Dancer, every chance if he'd been good enough. He pecked slightly, but now just watch Adam Condrat, never got flustered at all, just head down, hands and heels, knew that he was always going to win. Very stylish indeed.
Francois Dumas complete with Berry.
Yeah, well,
Christmas cheer.
I thought it would bring a French flavour around.
I can't understand why they let you obviously got a reasonable price. You know,
Yeah, well, we tried to get 10 to 1, but after this cancellation of the favourite, we enjoyed the win.
And he's won actually over fences at Auteuil, so how much does he have to adjust to run over these fences? What do you do with him at home?
Well, nothing more that to be done in France. He just had to school here, which he did 2 days ago. And
you around Kempton, do you?
Yes, not around, just a couple on the side, and with a lot of severe eyes to watch me. But the thing is, you know, there are horses I would never bring here, like Uccello never had a chance to come here as he was such a good horse. But you know, there are testers which you don't want to try here. This horse was always a very respectful jumper, and I thought he would be. I really had no fear that he would not adapt to English fences.
Because we're just looking at on the last 2 fences, he's done a fair degree of pressure, but he was very sensible there.
Yeah, he's a careful horse. He was a bit negligent on the back line. It's purely by negligence, because he's a very laid-back horse for a 5-year-old novice. But I think he's going to improve a lot from that. And
he's now mastered English fences clearly. Will you bring him back, Cheltenham? Well,
that was a test today. Now, the only thing is, as the favourite didn't run, I'm not so sure about the value of the race, but I know the horse has got quite a bit to improve. So we'll see from now on if we can really test Cheltenham.
And for us, looking at his form, he's won on soft ground in France, which is very different ground to this. What's his best surface?
Yeah, but I think his best surface is not very soft. He copes with soft. I think prefers the good ground. But I mean, he's quite a, you know, horse would enjoy everything except the very, very soft.
And Francois, you have your son rides tomorrow, if racing
on here. If there is racing, he's actually quite keen to ride. I mean, he enjoyed Cheltenham, as you know, last year in Kenmure, and he's very looking forward to run this Volpa-Nuit tomorrow. And we've got a 3 years old as well. Belongs to 101 people, and 35 of them are coming. If there is racing, if they're not, they're going to strangle me.
Well, I think you'll survive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bye.
Here's the SP on that Feltham Novices Chase. First, number 3, Jeddah at 9 to 2. Second, number 7, Solomon's Dancer, also 9 to 2. And third, number 1, Ardwolf, the 9 to 4 favourite. The Windtoad paid £5.90, places 2.30 and 1.30. Dual forecast £10.20, and the straight forecast £21.32. Non-runners, numbers 4, Fine Time, number 6, Seymour Business, 5 rand. And just one other race meeting today on this Boxing Day in the country. It's Lingfield Park on the all-weather, 12:50 result, and races are being run 10 minutes late there. The winner of that race, number 2, Barossa Valley at 11 to 4. Second, number 3, Slip Jig at 4 to 1. And third, number 1, Settler Passage, the 11 to 10 favourite, 6 rand.
And in this network personnel handicap hurdle coming up, 17 favourites have won in 43 runnings since the war, though the last 4 have been beaten. And the only odds-on chance ever to run was Paul Mellon's Fine Arts, who won this at 6 to 5 on way back in 1964. Now, earlier on, bookmakers did ask for odds of 11 to 10 Chaillot, but generally now they're putting even money. That's the price against Chaillot. Now, the market mover this morning, Old Be Mine, who was back from 3-1 to 2-1 this morning before the non-runners, put in at 6-4, Old Be Mine. And I just have to say the last 10 market movers have won. The last 10 given out of one market movers. Can Old Be Mine make it number 11, or will that go and break the sequence and snap it by getting beaten here? Yet again is a 4-1 chance, 50-1 the rag at the bottom, that Pyrrhic dance, but they're even money. They did ask for odds. Now, even money, Chayo. Here rolls 6-4, Old Be Mine, to become the 11th consecutive market mover to win. Surely that can't happen on Boxing Day.
News is coming in that Leicester and Chepstow are off tomorrow. We have Terry Casey, Rough Quest trainer, coming in now. We want to know, we're going to get the news first. Is the Grand National winner going to run in the King George? Oh no, Terry Casey.
Rough Quest now runs.
He definitely runs?
He definitely runs.
Ah, that's good. Now, how did you come to the decision?
Well, the ground is quick, but we've spoken to a few of the top jockeys, Graham Bradley, Chris Maud, and they said the ground is quick, but they can't feel any real jar in it.
Yeah.
And he's a horse handles the fast ground. He won the fast ground at Punchestown. He also won when the National the ground was quite quick.
So he was going to be, you were just worried about his legs, were you?
Just worried about his legs. But we are running.
That's great news. Right, well, thank you very much indeed. Rough Quest runs in the Perchamps King George. That's good news. It's coming later. Now the trophy presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, a success for the French raider Jenna there. From Francois Dumain's stable. You may have heard Francois speaking to Derek Thompson earlier on. And representing the owner, Stella Elkain, who isn't here unfortunately, we have Claude Jonichan to accept the trophy from one of the partners of Perchamps Recruitment Partnership, Peter Hodges, and from his wife, Michelle.
Wait in, wait in.
These big days, you always wonder if they're going to measure up, and this certainly has begun in style, French style here. We had a dramatic race, the first appearance of a hurdles for the Ebor winner San Martino. We've recorded that, and it's on after the break.
People's Army, all members of the aristocracy are to be arrested. Take him away.
We are the People's Army. All members of the aristocracy are to be arrested.
But comrade, I'm People's Army too.
You expect us to believe that? Take him away.
The mellow taste of Smirnoff Black.
We are People's Army. All members of the
Imperial Russia's best-kept secret.
Morning.
Morning, Dad.
Oh, yeah, I must sort out that loan. But I can't get to the bank.
Hello!
There's a new convenient way to get an unsecured personal loan.
Call Lombard Direct, free on 0800 215,000. 24 hours a day.
We have loans from £800 to £15,000 for almost anything, and our rates are low.
One call to Lombard Direct, and you're laughing.
To arrange a loan or for more information, call free on 0800 215,000.
I've bred men for 30 years now. Dave was my first, and since then I've bred two more, Stephen and Greville, which is why I always recommend Worthington Draft Bitter. It's a velvety smooth dream of a pint. I like to think that hopefully Worthington goes towards giving them a happier life.
You can get a powerful Karcher pressure washer for only £99 at the B&Q sale.
There's £100 off the Sherwood bathroom suite.
Look, a big 10 litres for £13.99.
This floodlight with alarm sensor now only £24.99.
Lovely, isn't it? And there's the third door. Look, 72 towels, just £6.85.
And it's over £50 off this Gainsborough shower.
Fantastic value, only £23.99.
And there's lots more.
The B&Q sale, hurry, it's now on.
If you're going on holiday, you should be going to a place that'll give you something more lavish for your lira. What about a place that'll get you somewhere more palatial for your peseta? If this sounds like your kind of place, you should be going places. You'll get more holiday for your money. So, with our huge discounts, shouldn't you be going places with Going Places?
Back here, it's not getting any warmer, and it's not getting any easier to work out how things are going, because horses are coming out of the races, I wouldn't say by the dozen, but they continue to come out as cars come through, and they will be seeing a slightly depleted number of horses, because inevitably with this weather, it was a slight degree of touch and go, or confident noises this morning that did assume that the temperatures were going to rise. Luckily, we had no frost yesterday. If there had been frost yesterday, I don't think it would have raced today, because this was the first frost they got. It just got the top of the surfaces. But talking to Janie Pittman, she said that where the horses go across, there's certainly ice there. It's one of the crossings of the road. Indeed, where those cars are going, I walked down there this morning at about 8:45. It was all frozen there. But where there's plenty of grass, you're all right. But those trainers who thought they couldn't risk their horses for various reasons are listed now. Let's have a look at the non-runners list. In the race coming up, Thinking Twice and Into Magica out. In the King George, we've just heard that Charlie Brooks has decided after Ardwolf ran that he wouldn't run Couldn't Be Better, so Couldn't Be Better, Now Then Lad and Trying Again are all out of the King George. In the 3:15, Lansdowne and Nick the Beak are out. So the fields are depleted, but we've still got tremendous racing for you.
Now, the first race this afternoon at 12:40 was arguably the best novice hurdle seen so far this season. There were 5 withdrawals, though, for you. Let me confirm them. 2 Dane Gold, 4 Fionnan's Flutter, 7 Night Flare, 8 Norden's Prince and 9 Palladium Boy. This left 8 runners over 2 miles, and it brought together the season's most prolific winner and the season's interesting newcomer. Now, Kailash boasts an enviable record. 7 hurdle race wins from 7 starts. He's owned by the rails bookie, Mickey the Asparagus Kid Fletcher. He completed the 7-timer at Cheltenham last month. He's trained by Martin Pipe. He's ridden by the champion jockey, Tony McCoy, and he was looking to keep his unbeaten record intact in the first race here this afternoon. This race saw the hurdling debut of San Martino, a very good horse on the flat, former winner of the Tote Ebor when he was trained by Barry Hills. Now, we last saw him in action, finishing 2nd in the Jockey Club Cup at Newmarket in October. But now this is a different ball game. He's with David Nicholson. He's ridden by Adrian Maguire. And before we see the race, let's have a look at the betting of the off for what promises to be a thrilling 12:40. Simon?
Yes, Kailash headed the market, Derek, at 2-1. San Martino at 100-30. Proton at 4-1. At 6-1, Secret Spring. Leading Spirit at 11-1. Desert Green at 12-1. 33-1 Bar turned into a Christmas cracker.
So they begin the turn out of the back straight, and they're bunching up front. The orange colours on the left, Mansur had made the running to this point, but it's San Martino with Proton making a good ground on the outside. Is Leading Spirit in the blue jacket, just shaded from this camera angle. Kailash going for the 8th in a row, in the yellow colour, sitting at 4. And so they start the turn in, and it's Proton on the inside of San Martino, who's going very well. Then Leading Spirit. And behind that one comes Kailash, then comes a Secret Spring starting a run forward now and travelling well. Come down towards the second last, and it's Proton on the inside and San Martino. Secret Spring between the pair. Right on the stand side is Kailash. This is 2 out and about 4 in line there. Leading Spirit is the one that drops away, but with a pink cap it's San Martino who's absolutely cruising, but so too going well is Secret Spring. This is the final flight, and San Martino jumps it well, but not as well as Secret Spring, and Secret Spring really quickens again, but so too San Martino coming back for more. It's going to be very close at the line. It's Secret Spring at the moment, but San Martino bursts through to snatching on the line. San Martino with a great turn of foot takes it from Secret Spring. Back in 3rd is Proton, and 4th is Kailash, whose run has come to an end.
Well, I think that was a good performance by San Martino, and I think over a more galloping track he really will come into his own, and he's a first ever runner over hurdles for Prince Khalid Abdullah. But unfortunately Adrian Maguire rode that. As you saw in our first race, he was unseated from Hatcham Boy on the far side. I understand he's seeing the doctor now. We'll keep you posted on that. Here's the SP.
First number 11, San Martino at 100 to 30. Second number 12, Secret Spring at 6 to 1. And third number 10, Proton at 4 to 1. The win tote there, £4.50. Places 170, 180 and £1.10. The dual forecast, £18. Straight forecast, £21.18. Number 1, Kailash, the 2 to 1 favourite. Non-runners 2, 4, 7, 8 and 9, 8 round.
Horses just going out onto the track. It'll be a couple of minutes before they get down to the start. We'll be back with them.
As the UK's number 1, Lund Poly give more discounts on more holidays than any other travel agent. Lund Poly, a better way to get away.
Have you seen my razor?
I think it's on the cabinet.
Okay, whose is that?
It's nothing to do with me.
What do you think you're playing at?
Well, it's not mine. Don't look at me.
I thought we told you to be careful.
John, I think we're the ones who should have been careful.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance.
If your family suddenly grows, so too will your responsibilities. That's why Allied Dunbar financial plans adapt, so you can face the unexpected.
Let's face the music and dance.
Allied Dunbar, for the life you don't yet know.
They've had enough of us. Time for something completely different.
There's half-price George and up to 50% off homewares. In Asda's sale starts tomorrow.
Why suffer cold sores? Used early, Zavirax may shorten the attack or even stop cold sores appearing. Zavirax Cold Sore Cream, it really works.
Court sale exhibits.
My lord, there are huge reductions and interest-free credit. Exhibit 1, a quality carpet. Exhibit 2, a sumptuous sofa. Exhibit 603, a
I'm going to have to
bed.
lay down the law.
Exhibit 604, a classical cabinet.
These bargains go on and on and on. Judge for yourself in court.
Make haste.
Morning.
Morning, Dad.
Oh, yeah, I must sort out that loan. But I can't get to the bank.
Hello!
There's a new convenient way to get an unsecured personal loan.
Call Lombard Direct, free on 0800 215 000. 24 hours a day.
We have loans from £800 to £15,000 for almost anything, and our rates are low.
One call to Lombard Direct, and you're laughing.
To arrange a loan or for more information, call free on 0800 215 000.
As the UK's number 1, Lund Poly give more discounts on more holidays than any other travel agent. Lund Poly, a better way to get away.
There is ice on the lake. Some of it's thawed off a bit, but there's ice there, and there'll be much more tonight, I can tell you. Very much a day to get round the fire and roast the chestnuts. Even in the open air, they're roasting here today, and they'll be having plenty of takers for what is going to be a very cold but a brilliant afternoon, because in the next hour, we're going to be seeing the biggest names in jumping. We've got one man, the King George winner, the pride of Cumbria, the grey flyer from the north, against Rough Quest, the Grand National winner. That's in the King George here. And over at Leopardstown, we have Dunwoody, the charismatic flag carrier for Irish hurdling. He's going over fences and has got to get his fencing right this afternoon. He's in against Landafar. So it's an exciting afternoon coming up. And we've got a race which, even though it's been depleted, 2 more non-runners, thinking twice into Magic are out. We've still got an interesting field here for the Network Personnel Handicap. Read to you by Graham.
And Cheyo is the man of Guy Upton. That's trading 6-4 joint favourite. This most progressive horse, Alba Mine, is the other 6-4 joint favourite. Terry Kent rides yet again at 5-2. partnered by David Bridgewater, rerouted here from Wolverhampton, and Pyrrhic Dance, the rank outsider at 20 to 1, is the man of David Skirm, who puts up a pound overweight. They're at the start.
Well, Chai Yo's been in tremendous form, won 3 times this season. In all 4 of his races, he's come to the last flight still on the bit and quickened away. But he has gone steadily up the handicap, 20 pounds higher now. Will he be able to do it again today? That's the question. And there he is. Chai Yo looks perfectly in great shape. So, though, does Albemarle. And we've had a tip for yet again. A tip in the running of Secret Spring in the first race here, because yet again beat Secret Spring the other day, getting £6 admittedly, but nevertheless beat him. And this is yet again's first run in a handicap.
Yeah, the problem here is what's going to make the running, because they're all basically held up. The eye catcher for us was Albemarle. He's one likes to come from off the pace. He caught the eye going to the post. He was the one for the punters. Chio, not particularly friendless in the market, but probably the fact that there's a little bit of money for Albemarle, who's a useful horse on his day. He's actually developed quite. I haven't seen him for a while. I was surprised how he strengthened up. I remember him winning up at Doncaster last year. He beat Nordic Sun, and Star Rage is a bit further down the field. He's a horse who can pull quite hard. They'll be trying to get him settled early on. Only 4 runners, they're underway. Here's Graham.
And it's Albemarle that's determined to make the running here. Pyrrhic Dance, a rank outsider with the noseband. And then we've got yet again and Chayo, 4th of the 4, as it comes the first of the 8 flights of hurdles, to which Albemarle will lead. Over in the lead to Pyrrhic Dance in 2nd, and then on the inside we've got yet again and Chayo is 4th of the 4. Quite a steady pace here, set by Terry Kent and Albemarle. Colours of trainer Julie Cecil. Albemarle leading flight number 2 now. Chayo a little bit awkward in the back of the pack. So they come up past the centre, they've got a circuit to go, and it's Albemarle who leads to Pyrrhic Dance on the outside. Who's had his leg problems in the past, the Mr. Season or so. And then sitting in 3rd place is yet again by David Bridgewater, and Chayo is 4th of the 4 as they swing right-handed and make their way out into the country, with Albemarle leading. Now Pyrrhic Dance is taking the wide road, but yet again and Chayo the inside as they race away behind Albemarle towards flight number 3. Albemarle is then coming to it. This is the 3rd. And it's Albemarle over in the lead, Pyrrhic Dance wide over yet again and Chayo towards flight number 4 now. Albemarle has the edge. Albemarle comes to it, jumps it well. And the other 3 very fluent as well. Pyrrhic Dance in 2nd place, and then yet again in 3rd, and Chayo is 4th of the 4. They swing right-handed. They come about to the halfway stage in this 2-mile race. Takes about just under 4 minutes. About 2 minutes to go then, and it's Albemarle leading, clear by a couple of lengths to Pyrrhic Dance, who's on the outside of yet again, and then Chayo 4th of the 4. Held up for that late burst that has seen him take 3 races so far this season, Chayo, and to be 1 step of the handicap. A horse who clearly appreciates fast ground. Come down towards flight number 5. Triangular track, Kempton. There are 2 flights on each side of the triangle. And Albemarle kicked into it, and the other 3 in the air together. Pyrrhic Dance, who's wide, and Chayo, who's really swinging away. Red colours on the left, that's yet again. And gentlemen, which one would you like to be on at this stage?
Well, Chayo has, by his standards, settled pretty well for Guy Upton. He takes a considerable hold, but as I told you, those 3 victories of his, he came to the last flight still on the bit. I wonder whether he's going to be able to do so today. Albemarle's going pretty well in the lead.
Well, he is, but if you look behind him, he's still taking a real tug on this Chayo, and he could be just a really improving horse. We'll know in just a few moments, but he's probably just taking more of a grip than Guy Upton would like. Having said that, the horse in front is bowling along, covers loads of ground, he's been jumping really well, and although Chayo looks like he's about to run all over them, I doubt whether that will actually happen.
Well, I must say, if I had to be on one, I wouldn't mind being on Chayo on the right there with the red sleeve jacket, because Albemarle just asking to quicken now, and then yet again the far side, but Chayo is still on a tight rein. There's just over a quarter of a mile to go, and it's Albemarle cleared by a couple of lengths. It's 2 out. He jumped it safely. Oh, and Chayo just skids on landing a bit. Yet again, the far side. They come down towards the final flight. Now then, what has this Chayo got? It's Alvermine in front to Chayo in second. This is the last. Alvermine hurdles it well. Chayo in second place, and then back in third is Yet again, and it's Alvermine. Chayo is trying to close. Got 100 yards to go. Alvermine out in front. He's going to stay there. Alvermine, the 6-4 favourite, wins it. Chayo thrusting at the line with Alvermine from Chayo back in third place yet again, and completing to finish fourth is Pyrrhic Dons, and that'll pick up £500. Well, the 6-4 favourite, Alvermine, has prevailed. Colours Judy Cecil on this horse she trains, this 7-year-old she trains, was well back this morning, but as they turn into the home straight, if I'd have backed it, I would have torn up my ticket. However, those who did collect, Alvermine has won. Second horse home is number 2, Chayo. Guy Upton, oh, so confident, wasn't he, with the 2 fighter hurdles to jump, but the handicapper may very well have him in his grasp, just couldn't quicken as well as our winner. Third horse home is number 5 yet again. A good performance by a 4-year-old against experienced handicappers.
And Alvermine has landed the gamble of the day. Now back to 3-1 into 2-1, as I told you in the offices this morning. That made it a market move, although there were 2 non-runners. On the course it did touch 2-1 and is returned the 6-4 favourite Alvermine, and most bookmakers at the off were going 11-8, and just enough were going 6-4 for that to be the return. The runner-up Chayo drifted from odds on, returned 7-4 second best, with yet again an 11-4 chance. And Alvermine, the 18th favourite in 44 runnings since the war to win it, the first since Wonder Man 6 years ago, and others before that in the 80s, Olympic times. Jimmy Lorenzo was favourite, Yarbis into Melody, and News King won this one favourite 16 years ago, ridden by the greatest jockey himself. But Alvermine, 6-4 favourite, the 11th consecutive market mover on Channel 4 to go in and win, landing quite a touch, trapped a line. That's how they should win. Era 6-4. Hope you were on.
A lot of smiling faces there. I think they've just paid for their Christmas in one hit, and given a really confident ride there by Terry Kent, who's actually been with Judy Cecil for a long time. One of the main cogs in the wheel there.
And those are the colours of the late Lady Merlis, Julie's mother, of course. And if they have Channel 4 up in heaven, I think there was some shouting going on, because Guy Upton is the late Bob Turnell's grandson, and Lady Merlis loved jumping and would have been cheering her colours home.
Quite difficult for a jockey when you're attached to a flat yard. You know, they've only got a handful, if that, of hurdlers. Quite difficult to actually get yourself off the bottom rung of the ladder and get going. I know Simon McNeil was based up in Newmarket, David Bringer, and he moved away, and then his career took off, and that's been the case for quite a few others. But this horse ought to get him established. Anybody looking for a jockey certainly wouldn't have been put off by the ride he's given this horse. Got him settled in front. As I said, he's a horse who's actually normally happier coming off a fast pace, and allowed him to bowl along, make the running, got him settled, got him jumping, and that was the downfall of Chayo, really. Didn't settle at all. He was pulling much too much from halfway down the far side, and then, as you thought might happen, once Guy Upton let him down, he didn't actually go anywhere at all. Nothing disappoints horses more than when they're pulling and you won't let them go, because you don't want them to get to the front, and that was that, and a combination of the fact that he ran out of steam.
Confirmation of the SP. First, number 3, Alvermine, 6-4 favourite. Second, number 2, Chayo at 7-4. And third, number 5, Yet Again at 11-4. The winner paid £2.60 on the tote for a win and £2.80 for a place. The dual forecast 2.30, straight forecast £4.23. Non-runners numbers 1 and 4 and 4 round. And now at Lingfield, the 120, a close finish here. The winner, number 6, Island Prince at 9-2, getting home by a short head. From number 3, the Wyandotte Inn, the 6-4 favourite. And third, number 4, Countless Times at 14-1, 7 round.
Here's the man who in half an hour could be making history by attempting to win the King George, Richard Dunwoody, for, was it a 4th time?
Derek, yeah, I've been very lucky, and Well, we can go out there and do our best.
Now, you've only won it on greys, amazingly enough. Dessie twice and one man last year.
I don't mind doing it, keeping that record up anyway.
Did you see Dessie here early on? Because, I mean, I saw him. He was 18 and he looked great.
I didn't know. The last time I rode him was at the Royal Welsh Show about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And he did what he usually does, run away with me.
Yeah.
Things were getting a little bit precarious around quite a small show ring.
Could be interesting for Colin Brown, who leads the parade today.
Yes. Yeah, I don't fancy his job.
Any comparison between those two?
Everyone obviously asks you the same question, please, because they're great. Can you compare them?
Yeah.
Every horse is different, and different characters. They're both very intelligent. Touch and wood, they both jump very well. Dessie, I suppose, if anything, a little bit more extravagant, possibly a slightly more powerful horse. This is a very, very decent horse, as he showed in last year's King George at Sandown.
Now, the interesting what you said there, that was at Sandown because this meeting was abandoned. But the only time he's run here is when he had a fall. Now, I know you didn't ride him that year, but would that perhaps worry you, the fact, here it is as we see it on the screen, would that worry you that on his only outing here at Kempton he's had a fall?
Not really, no. He jumped very well, very nicely with me at Weatherby last time, and I don't know what happened there. It's things didn't go right. Whether he just took his eye off it, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll just make sure things don't happen like that today.
Now, I know it's always nice to be on the odds-on favourite, but with so many people watching, millions watching television, a big crowd here, how much pressure does that put on you? I know you're Mr. Cool.
Pressure is something you only put on yourself, and there's no pressure.
Yes.
Basically, we're lucky, much of it's down to the horse.
Yeah.
And they're the one that has to do the running and jumping out there.
And we should get a good pace.
There will be a good pace. Barton Bank, Mr Mulligan. That'll be a help.
Yeah.
And obviously with the small field dropping in, it'll help my job.
Should be no problems.
There's never no problems in this game.
Good luck on the record. I hope it goes for you.
Thanks very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, the very first show makes Richard Dunwoody 9-4 on one man to win a record fourth King George, both on greys, of course. One man twice it would be, and also Desert Orchid. And it's only a fair race to King George for odds-on chances. The most recent odds-on, of course, that was Desert Orchid himself, who won it twice at odds-on. Desert Orchid, Barrow Hill Lad, won at 2-1 on, but was beaten, went fourth to Wayward Lad a year later. Pendle 3 times at odds on. His only defeat was by Captain Christie, who ran away from him in 74. Arkle broke down in 66 after landing odds of 7-1 on a year earlier. Frenchman's Cove and Millhouse were odds-on winners, and odds-on losers in the 1949 was Cottage Rake and Macaulay in 1938. So 13 odds-on chances, 8 have won and 5 have lost. And the early show, as I say, they're asking for 9-4 on at the moment, one man, but I think now the rails are calling 2-1. 2-1, they're asking now for one man. Of course, great gambles have been landed by Jeddah in the novice chase, and by Albi Mines. The bookmakers now are losing money again on Boxing Day. They want to get it back. 2-1, that's what they're asking one man, with 7-2, Rough Quest, and 7-1, Barton Bank, also trying to win it for the second time.
And there is one man. No, it's not. I thought he looked a bit white. He looked a bit too white for one man. Anyway, it's Desert Orchid who will be leading the parade. One man will be even more of an uncoiled spring. The Desert Orchid remains. And with us 3 uncoiled springs, Tony McCoy, Nick Fitzgerald, and first of all, Adrian Maguire. We saw you thrown high into the air, and you clearly bounced.
Yeah.
What was the ground like to land on?
Pretty hard. Yeah, I'm all right though.
And tell us about Barton Bank, because it's very easy to people have written him off a bit, but he's still quite a contender if he were to clear around it.
Clear around, I think it was a good run for him in Weatherby, and I'm only beaten 7 lengths. I'm sure he'll improve, and I'm sure the grey horse will improve. So he likes it around Kempton, and I'm going out being hopeful, and hopefully he'll run a big race.
It's just everybody knows about it. You can just go and do your own thing. Now, Mr. Mulligan's likely to go. Will you go and attack with him, or will you just peel it away?
I think it'll be the same as usual. I'll bounce out the gate, and Barton Bank then will tell me how fast he wants to go.
And how high he wants to jump. Hey, is there any difference in his jumping now? You just...
I think he, touch wood, he's jumping pretty well. He does nudge the odd one, but a lot of other horses do as well.
Well, let's hope he doesn't. We'll see you in a second. But here's Mick Fitzgerald. Rough Quest now. Jumping shouldn't be a problem. What about the ground, though? How narrow a decision was it for Terry, do you think?
Oh, I think it was very marginal very marginal. He spoke to the jockeys when they came in after the last race, and he more or less satisfied himself that it would be okay. He has won on this type of ground. When I won the Castle Martin Chase on the Punchestown, it was quite quick. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, he came out at Folkestone over hurdles, and many people thought it was just a warm-up, but it wasn't exactly.
Not really. He travelled so well during the race. He's absolutely swinging here. You know, I'd actually got him lit up probably a bit quick. They'd gone quite a way in front of me, and I'd managed to get him settled quite well. And he's just doing his usual there. You know, he's wanting to get up past his workhorses, I suppose, when he's racing over hurdles, because he's not used to running in a race against them. But like he jumped very well. You know, he is a good jumper. He measures whatever's put in front of him. You know, you see him there. You think he's been hurdling all his life.
Yeah, fine. He's a bit careful. He's a bit careful at the last, isn't he? As I remember, you come to.
Yeah, I think he just took his eye off it. Really, he travelled to it on a nice stride, and I said, right, don't let go of his head. Just squeeze him down, which I've done. And I think he just took his eye off it right at the last minute, and he popped it nicely, but he sat down a bit on the other side of it.
Because David Bridgewater, who had you coming up behind Encore Per in the National, was pretty annoyed when he saw you loom up close to him here.
I think he probably thought that he had me beat once he's gone away from me after the last. You know, credit to my horse who's picked up really well to get to him. You know, because I had 3 or 4 lengths to make up.
How icy is it today? Do you think there's any slip in the race to the ground?
No, I didn't slip in the first over hurdles. And my horse, he didn't jump that great, and he had every opportunity to slip, really.
Well, let's see this here. We've got to come to the last. Now, it looks as if we're going to go and gobble him off the last. Whoops. And
the other horse has gone. He's
yeah.
got a run on me here, and I've just picked my stick up and waved at him, and he really has picked up, you know, in ground, which is quite testing, really. You know, once he gets near the other horse, he picks up to get by him. But that's it then.
Well, that's the way he is. You'll have a certain leader with not only Barton Bank, but Mr Mulligan. Tony, you going to really go for things on him, do you imagine?
Yeah.
The way he is, isn't it?
He's probably going to have to pop out. I think it's the way he is. He done with Ascot when he won. I mean, he's going to be there to be shot at, but hopefully he'll keep going. It's a flat, easy track. Obviously, one man and Rough Quest will be travelling in behind him, but let's hope we can keep him there as long as possible.
I mean, in this situation, you're just going to let him do his thing. He's a huge, great, long striding.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to have to leave on ball. Hopefully he won't mind the ground. He didn't jump great at Chepstow, but Noel thinks it might have been because he might have had the foot problem even then. So I mean, if he jumped well, I mean, he'd make them work to get to him anyway. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of ifs. But a last thought from you. You told the world before the National how you have to come late. How easy and difficult is it to come late at Kempton, which you're going to need to do?
I think it's a lot difficult because you haven't got such a long run in here from the last, and obviously with one man probably being held up, I'm just hoping with a small field that one man will do too much during the race and not have that much steam left in his tank when we race down to the last. If that's the case, well, then I've got every chance.
Well, the best man win and best horse too. Good luck.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
I've come down to the pre-parade ring where the horses for the Potemkin King George have been saddled. A lot of interest, of course, on Desert Orchid, who's been going around here. One of the great stories would be if Jeff Hubbard's horse, Strong Promise, could win. He's just being saddled now by Christie's wife and also Jeff, who's on the far side. And we hope to have a chat with him as soon as he pops out. Jeff, can we have a quick chat while he's saddling up there? Because it'll cost us a bit. Now, I tell you what, he's only really still a big baby, isn't he? 5 years old. Do you want to come forward a bit? Because he might just come up. Now, what do you think today?
Well, I think that there's only 6 in the race.
Yeah.
He's obviously got to be up there.
Yeah.
And
he looks really well, I must say.
He's in fantastic condition. Yeah. And we're going to run him the same as we did at Ascot. Yeah. Be up there.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the top corner there, if he's got anything left in him, have a go.
I've got to say, he's only 5. I mean, and no 5-year-old has won since Manikou in 1950.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there again, you see, I got chaps who used to work for me for 18 and run companies. Yeah. And I have people at 45 who couldn't do anything. Yeah. So it didn't make a difference about the age, really. No. It's what they can do, how good they are.
Yeah.
And I think he's good. So I think probably we've asked him to do a little more than we would an 8-year-old. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't have run him today If he was an 8-year-old. I've run him today because he's a 5-year-old. If anything goes wrong, we've got time to get over it.
It's true. Come on, I'll walk in with you the parade room because it's going to be quite a sight. Desert Orchid's just about to go in as well. And to have a runner here is something, isn't it?
Oh, well, I think so. But I tell you what, Christmas is a terrible time for people who own and race horses. Because you never have a Christmas day because you're up in the afternoon. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Are we going to race? Are we not?
Hey, we're racing though, aren't we?
We're racing, that's great.
We're racing.
But there are a lot of people disappointed about Huntingdon and
all
those places who've got a lot of money invested in the horses.
I know. Well, anyway, Jeff, very good luck with Strong Promise.
Thank you.
It's busy round in the parade ring. Mac, what's it like in the betting ring?
Well, terrific down here, Tom, and as you can imagine, Jeff Hubbard delighted to race because Strong Promise loves top of the ground. And as you were saying, a 5-year-old, the only 5-year-old to win the Queen Mother's Manitou 46 years ago, beat Silver Fame and Coloured Schoolboy to go and win the King George, the only 5-year-old to do it. Strong Promise is now from 5 to 1, and you will behave. Grow up! Teach your children to behave! So 5 to 1 now to 11 to 2, Strong Promise. They asked for 9 to 4 on, 2 on. What is wrong with you? How old are you? You're 55 and look at you. 7 to 4 on now is the price against one man. Rough Quest, because of the ground and the doubts about him, out to 4 to 1, one man. 11 to 2, Strong Promise. Grow up. 8 to 1 against Barton Bank, 9 to 1 in places. 10 to 1, Mr Mulligan has touched 12. And those are the prices. But generally, bookmakers want to get money out of your one man. 7 to 4 on it is now.
And here is one man. I must say, he looks, easy to say, looks magnificent, but his skin, looking at them closely here, his skin is absolutely shining with condition. And a horse who really needs to be bubbling in himself. And Gordon Richards, I was talking to him earlier, is very, very sure he's got him as cherry ripe as he can be. Look at the muscles there on him, a horse in the peak of condition. And another grey, no longer in the peak, but still full of character. And a fair old menace, actually, because he never was a particularly settled horse. He likes to get on with things. And the idea of being sort of pet is not really Dessie's deal. And they try and pat him, he pushes him around all over the place. But the thing beginning to fizz for the Pertemps King George, which is coming up. And it's a real race to savour, and the crowd who have come out to the cold but the clear frosty air of Kempton are in for a fizzer. We'll see you after the break.
S40. Underneath, it's a Volvo.
When you're looking for an epic night out, look for this sign. Because where you looked for access, now you'll find MasterCard.
Now I can breathe, I can see, I can touch, I can feel. You give me all the love I ever missed. I've never felt like this. I'm alive.
You always imagine cruise for people that got lots of money, but this wasn't. It was worth every penny.
Meeting interesting people and going to interesting places. Tremendous.
The food's excellent. You just got to worry about the waistline, I think.
I must look for about 20 brochures, and the air tours one was fantastic value.
Whatever makes your holiday, we can make it happen. Air Tours, the holiday makers.
The Debenhams winter sale starts at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Welcome back. The paddock at Kempton with the King George VI runners here walking round us. It's as good a moment as you get in the jumping game. It's the real way to end the Christmas festivities. It's a tremendous highlight. There's the trophy, and here are the runners, and fascinating ones they are for the Per Thames King George.
And the ones that we've got left have won 42 races and over £832,000 in winning place prize money. Barton Bank has won the race before 8-1. Adrian Maguire rides. Mr Mulligan, the front runner, 8-1, partnered by Tony McCoy. Then we've got One Man at 7-4 on Richard Dunwoody. The Grand National winner, Rough Quest, 4-1, Nick Fitzgerald. And the much improving novice Strong Promise at 11-2, Kieran Gall rides. That's the lineup for the Per Thames King George VI chase.
One Man, just one big question mark over him. What went wrong in the Gold Cup last year? Was it lack of stamina? Did he simply have an off day? Well, we shan't necessarily learn today because his stamina won't be tested by the sharp Kempton 3 miles. He won this race when it was transplanted to Sandown in real style last year, style which made him look a hot favourite for the Gold Cup. But, as you remember, when it came to 2 furlongs from home in the Gold Cup, suddenly the petrol ran out.
Well, they've never given a real excuse for why he stopped so quickly. You can put down that maybe he didn't get the trip, but I certainly wouldn't go along with that. Last time out at Wetherby, well, it was last time out, first time up this season, travelled really well, right back to his very best form. Had Barton Bank stretching just to stay in touch with him from the turn into the straight. Got a little bit close to the last. And then, all right, if you were hypercritical, you'd say, well, maybe he wasn't actually going anywhere, going up to the post. He was perhaps going up and down on the spot. But to me, that's certainly good enough. Just have a look now. Richard Dunwoody just had to push him out. It was his first run of the season. And there's no doubt that had something been good enough, and you've heard people say that, then he'd have been able to be beaten. The fact was, there wasn't anything good enough to go with him. And in this race last year at Sandown, over a much stiffer 3 miles, he absolutely blew the opposition away. And don't ever forget the way this horse travelled. About 1.5 miles from home, he was absolutely pulling double. He pulled his way to the front. There were good horses in that race, couldn't lay up with him. Well, he was actually well, Richard Dunwoody just couldn't settle him and allowed him to get to the front far sooner than he would have liked. And you're doing well to remember that this afternoon.
But there is one horse who might be good enough to stay with him, Rough Quest, who that moment when One Man blew out in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, Rough Quest was still on the bridle, quite a way behind Imperial Call, but he moved up right onto the tail of the Irish horse, going to the last, and looked a real threat as they started up the hill. Admittedly, it didn't happen. Imperial Call drew away to win in style. Nevertheless, Rough Quest, of course, went on to win the Grand National, first favourite to win the Grand National for 14 years. And this year, although he hasn't had a run over fences, Terry Casey took the bold step of sending him to Folkestone, and you saw earlier on how smoothly he won that day. That proved his fitness anyway. He has won on fast ground like this. The trainer, I know, has deep misgivings about risking him on the ground, but they're doing it. Good luck to them. Now look at the betting now.
As expected, One Man, the 7-4 on favourite, from 2-1 on. Rough Quest is 4-1 now, open at 7-2. Strong Promise out to 6-1 from 5-1. Now there's money for Mr Mulligan, Tony McCoy's mount, from 12-1 down to 10s and now 8-1. Meanwhile, Barton Bank taking a walk in the betting from 7s out to 9-1.
And there, Desert Orchid, who horse's memories are not as exact as ours, but goodness, his must begin to tingle when he thinks about the days when he ruled everything here at Kempton. 4 times a King George winner.
Winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup as well. He leads out the field, and the fielder number 1, Barton Bank, in the colours of Jenny Mould.
Those who go after him: Adrian Maguire and Barton Bank, winners in '93, winners but for a last minute disaster in '94, and back with a big shout if on song this afternoon.
Number 3 is Mr Mulligan, in the colours of Michael Jerry Worcester.
Champion jockey Tony McCoy on the giant Mr Mulligan. If this one is really on song, he could lead them a mighty gallop.
The defending champion, winner of the King George VI chase.
And Richard Dunwoody, bidding to become the first jockey to win a 4th King George. With last year's winner One Man, he's odds on to do it. Then Mick Fitzgerald on Grand National winner Rough Quest, who had to revert to hurdle for his warm-up race, but he hacked in all the same. And finally, Kieran Gall on Strong Promise. Only a 5-year-old, but he's improving so fast, you cannot count him out of it.
The green sash and a red cap, owned by Terry Casey, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald. Rough Quest, of course, was winner of the Martel Grand National, and runner-up in the Gold Cup.
Latest betting, One Man, the 13-8 on favourite, just easing slightly. Murmur of disquiet in the ring, perhaps. Rough Quest at 4-1, on 6-1 Strong Promise, 8-1 Mr Mulligan, and now Barton Bank is out to 10-1.
And Rough Quest is a very uneasy 4-1 second favourite. They believe he's only been run because United Racecourses chairman Andrew Waite insists on running his horse. Otherwise, if it wasn't here at Kempton today, I don't think it would run. The going is the problem there. But Rough Quest is only the 3rd horse to have won the Grand National, and in the same year come on to run in the King George. Oxo in 1959, ridden by David Nicholson, ran in the King George after winning the National and finished last to Mandarin. And way back in 1937, Royal Mail won at Aintree and was beaten 4 lengths by Southern Hero in the inaugural King George here. So the 3rd Grand National winner in the same year to run, and also he's trying to become the 5th horse to be 2nd in the Cheltenham Gold Cup and come on and win the King George. The fella did it twice. Pendle and Dormant were the others to do that. 2nd at Cheltenham, one better here at Kempton. But the bookmakers are trying to get money out of One Man as the applause rings out round me here for Desert Orchid. Hugely popular he's been, and the crowd love to see him. Their glasses are on him, they're all looking at him, except for these few people watching me here, unfortunately. Now 13-8 on One Man, with 4-1 against, behave yourself, 4-1 against Rough Quest, 6 Strong Promise, and good money for Mr Mulligan. 12-10, 8-1 with the thumb, Mr Mulligan, out to 10 Barton Bank. The outsider is Mr Mulligan. Uneasy a bit though, One Man.
And Dessie, as usual, giving Colin Brown a real rough time on the way down. Now he's seen the others, heaven knows what will happen.
Wow, real magnificent looking horse. I think he must have put on probably 100 weight since he's packed up racing. Really just wonderful. Almost pay your money just to come and watch him canter down to the start. Well, from Desert Orchid, let's have a look at a horse who's very much making his name this season. Ran a tremendous race in the Murphys at Cheltenham, finished 2nd to Challenger Du Look. That was 2.5 miles, this is 3, and I think he'll get the 3 miles. Whether he's quite good enough or not, I don't know, but Touchwood, he's been a very good jumper and got the best of him yet to come, I'm sure of that. Our Eye Catcher was One Man on the way to post. It was Strong Promise who took Graham's eye. Mr Mulligan was just seen back down to 8s from 10s, and Rough Quest just beginning to lengthen a little bit.
On the day of the Reynoldstown Chase at Ascot last year, this horse put up a performance which really was the novice performance of the season. He absolutely spread-eagled a good field, including Northern Lad, who doesn't run here. But the trouble is, since then, the jumping's fallen apart a little bit. Mr Mulligan has made a lot of mistakes. He's very free and headstrong. The question, if he could do a clear round, he might lead them a very merry dance. there behind him is Barton Bank, who we've said a lot about his jumping. It usually betrays him at least once. It's cost him at least one King George VI chase in his time, but he's won another one. Is he? No, he's not as good as he was. We know that because his running at Wetherby behind one man showed that. But here is the horse who won that race, and the horse who caught our eye. Your eye can't fail to be caught by him in the paddock, not just because he's grey, because he looks so magnificently well. Muscled up, absolutely in the pink. A quick look at the latest betting. 13 to 8 on one man now. 4's Rough Quest, 6 to 1 Strong Promise, Mr Mulligan 7 to 1, and 10's Barton Bank. Well, we were lucky to be having it at all. You know, lucky not to have it frozen off, but as we do have it, the conditions, at any rate, for spectators are absolutely perfect. The Pertemps King George VI chase. Over to you, Graham.
No, taking a turn.
And they've been asked to take a turn. Plenty of pace assured here. Mr Mulligan we expect to go on Barton Bank.
Okay, come on.
And those two trailblazers are out in front as they come down towards the first of 19 fences. Mr Mulligan has the edge to Barton Bank, clear of Strong Promise and One Man and Rough Quest. And they take the first now, which they're all safely over. And it's Mr Mulligan that leads to Barton Bank in second place, and then Strong Promise and One Man and Rough Quest as they take the first of the ditches they have to jump. And the Strong Promise gave him plenty of air. And it's Mr Mulligan that has the edge here to Barton Bank in second place. So the cards being played very much as we expected them to be, with Mr Mulligan blazing the trail to Barton Bank, winner of the race a few years back, and then the novice Strong Promise in front of the grey One Man, and the national winner Rough Quest held up fifth of the five as they level up down a stretch of the track that 4 fences to jump. It's a plain one they're coming to now, and it's Mr Mulligan that leads. Mr Mulligan to Barton Bank and Strong Promise, and then One Man and Rough Quest. It's a strong pace, not as strong as it was when Desert Orchid took on Ranger. We were discussing that race earlier on this morning. But it's Mr Mulligan who has it too. In second place Barton Bank, and then One Man on the inside of Strong Promise, and then Rough Quest, and they've jumped 4. So it's Mr Mulligan at the head of affairs to Barton Bank, and then Strong Promise and One Man and Rough Quest. Head towards fence number 6. They're quickly at it, and it's Barton Bank, Adrian Maguire moving through the inside of Mr Mulligan. They're 8 lengths clear of Strong Promise, One Man, and then Rough Quest still going to be played late for Mick Fitzgerald. And they come to the end of the first mile, and it's Pertemps King George, and it's Mr Mulligan that leads. To Barton Bank in second place, and about 6 lengths back there to Strong Promise, the outside of the grey One Man and Rough Quest. A line of 3 fences on this stretch of the track, coming towards the 7th fence they'd take. And it's Mr Mulligan to Barton Bank in second place, and then Strong Promise and One Man, and then Rough Quest, fence number 8 now. Mr Mulligan comes to it, pops over by a length or so. To Barton Bank, and then Strong Promise and One Man and Rough Quest, and this will be the last next time round. And really a colossal crowd here at Kempton, and they saw Strong Promise just dive at it, but it's Mr Mulligan who leads under champion jockey Tony McCoy, cleared by about 3 or 4 lengths. To Barton Bank in second, and then Strong Promise the outside of One Man, and then Rough Quest at the back of the pack. So they swing right-handed. Rough Quest just changes legs there a little bit. It's a little bit scratchy as they race away down towards the water jump, and it's Mr Mulligan blazing the trail. Mr Mulligan to Barton Bank in second place, and then Strong Promise and One Man, and then Rough Quest. They've completed a circuit, and they head down towards what was their first, is now the 11th, at which Mr Mulligan leads, and Tony McCoy just increasing the tempo a little bit. Rough Quest safe at the back, and the next one they take is an open ditch, fence number 12. And it's Mr Mulligan coming to it. He's over in the lead to Barton Bank and Strong Promise. Now, one man, Richard Dunwoody's given the leader, a good 8 or 10 length start on this champion chaser, and Rough Quest is 4 lengths behind him. One man, the 13-8 on favourite. Rough Quest at 4-1. Strong Promise 6-1. Mr Mulligan down to 13-2. Barton Bank at 10-1. All to play for, a mile to go. 7 more fences to jump. And gentlemen, will they catch the one in front, Mr Mulligan?
Yeah, well, he's certainly going a good gallop. He's jumping really well for Tony McCoy, and at this stage I'm pleased to see Richard Dunwoody moved away from Barton Bank. He wouldn't be the horse you wanted to be tracking, but he's a horse who comes onto the bridle very quickly, one man. He's just got a slap down the shoulder there, and if I take nods on about him, I think I'll be beginning to get us slightly concerned.
He's about 5 lengths adrift, is one man, the odds-on favourite, the King George, but it's still with 5 more fences to jump. Mr Mulligan who leads, Barton Bank in second place. One man hard on the bridle now is Mr Mulligan, who just nods on landing there, and Barton Bank makes a mistake and blunders away. So it's Mr Mulligan to one man in second place. This is the 4th from home. Mr Mulligan over to one man, and now Rough Quest, the outside of Barton Bank. And the novice Strong Promise said can't live with them as they start to turn out of the back straight. And it's Tony McCoy on Mr Mulligan. Clear by about 5 lengths, by 4 lengths now to one man in second, and Rough Quest is in 3rd place, and they're turning for home, and it's one man under Richard Dunwoody going for his 4th King George win on the grey. One man, the odds-on favourite, coming up the outside of Mr Mulligan and Tony McCoy. They're in the home straight, 3 to jump, and it's one man who leaps into the lead to Mr Mulligan. Rough Quest in 3rd place, and they've got 2 more to jump now, and it's one man the outside of Mr Mulligan, 2 out here, and one man to Mr Mulligan in second. Rough Quest in 3rd, Barton Bank, and then Strong Promise, but it's bar a fall for one man as he comes down towards the final fence in the Potenz King George, and it's one man cleared by 6 lengths. This is the last. He's over safely, and Mr Mulligan falls at the last. Rough Quest through the second place, and as he races up towards the line, it's one man clear by 12 to 15 lengths, and at the line, one man is going to take it, Pushguard, but he wins it. One man is the winner. Rough Quest an honourable second, Barton Bank a brave third, and finishing 4th of the 4 is going to be Strong Promise. Mr Mulligan's on his feet, and so too Tony McCoy. And so the result then of this Potenz King George has gone to the easy to back odds-on favourite, one man, the colours of Sir John Hales, trained up in Cumbria by Gordon Richards and ridden by Richard Dunwoody, his 55th winner of the season, but more importantly his 4th King George. He becomes the first jockey so to win 4 King Georges. Second horse home is number 6 Rough Quest, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald, who looked after the horse on this fast ground. The third horse home is number 1 Barton Bank, the man of Adrian Maguire, who made one unnecessary blunder on the far side really, and that took away his chances. The novice Strong Promise could never live with them, but a classy performer in the centre of excellence, one man.
One man returned the 13-8 on favourite and beats the Grand National winner Rough Quest at 4-1. The fall of Mr Mulligan helps many forecast backers there, with Barton Bank running in the race for the 4th time, the 10-1 chance, and finishes 3rd. And one man, the 23rd favourite in 46 runnings to win the King George. The 9th to go into odds on. The most recent was Desert Orchid twice and Borough Hill Lad in 1984. And one man gives trainer Gordon Richards his 3rd King George. One man, of course, won it at Sandown in January, and he also won it with Titus Oates 27 years ago. And Richard Dunwoody, a record 4th King George, all on greys, of course. One man twice and Desert Orchid twice. 13-8 on, 7,000 to 4 was bet on, 6,000 to 4, and a 6,000 to win 3,000. Plenty of lumpy bets for the grey. 30-8 on, one man.
Well, they deserve all the accolades, both horse and jockey. Came through, had to work really hard for this. In the end, he might have won 6 or 7 lengths, but plenty of effort put into it. The owner was blowing more than the horses they walked in then. I think he ought to go at the board and Richards for a few weeks. Really happy Jim Hales.
Audrey, come here.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A tremendous moment for all of us watching. What's it like for you?
Well, I didn't watch.
You didn't watch?
No, I hid behind the corner over there and I listened to the commentary. I watched him over the last to the finishing line.
You literally didn't see it?
No, I can't watch him. It's just too nerve-wracking. But he's home safe and sound, that's the main thing. The winning the race is a bonus, but he's safe.
And on the finishings, he pulled himself up at the finish. Did you watch that bit?
Yes, he's...
Did that alarm you?
Not really, not really. He got the race won. We're happy.
And John, you've had horses under you, but how much does he mean to you, this horse?
Oh, it's everything coming. We went into racing not knowing a thing, and we buy a horse like this. You know, he's won 2 King George, a Hennessy. You know, what can you say about him? I mean, he means so much to my family that he puts a lot of pressure on us, and we just want him to be safe and well, that's all we want.
Brilliant. And a quick word, Richard.
Just weighing.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
What 4 must have been terrific.
Yes, he's given me a great ride through the race, jumped super. It just switched off a bit more than he usually does, but it wasn't as competitive a race with only 5 runners. He's done it very, very well.
Well done.
Thanks.
And Gordon Richards is here. Gordon. When the kissing has to stop, congratulations. You had him. You said you thought he was at his peak, and you certainly
Yeah, I
had
thought he was very, very well. You know, he's only had the 1 run this year, and he missed 8 up, which was a pity, because the race just puts him on a boil a little bit, doesn't it? But I knew I had him super fit, and I knew waiting another week wasn't going to do him any harm.
Now, John's saying that he couldn't actually watch the race, but you did, and you saw Mr Mulligan have a fair old lead on you.
Oh, he did. He did. He had a very good long lead. He made it a good gallop and a good trying race, didn't he? But John never does watch the race, you know. He runs away and leaves me.
And tell us, when you went to pick him up, you knew your horse was on song then?
Yeah, I did, and you know, like he jumps well, doesn't he? And Richard said before he went out, it'd probably be over the last 3 he'd go and win his race. So, I mean, he closed in on him, didn't he? And then he set him alight over the last 3, so...
Well, the question we now had to ask is, what about Cheltenham? Because do you now think anything was wrong you can understand at Cheltenham?
We can never pick nothing up, you know, at Cheltenham with him or anything like that. When we say he doesn't get the trip, he went out, you know, too quick for me there. But he's going to go back to Cheltenham in January, and we're going to have a look in the pillar chase and just see. If he doesn't win there, I'll tell you, he won't go for the Gold Cup, I don't think.
And tell us, one thing he could say, he pulled himself up once he was clear on the run-in.
This one?
Yeah.
I think he's got a laid back, the quiet way in nature that he is. Now he's getting quieter in every way. Maybe it's the way I train him at home, you know, to go very quiet. You're carrying an old fella, you know, so...
well, if you had to climb up those, it'll make anyone go quiet.
There you are, Russ, yeah. No.
Well, John, finally, if you couldn't watch here, what's it going to be like when you go in Cheltenham?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, last Cheltenham, we went, fun enough, people don't believe me, but at the end of the week, I wasn't disappointed, because if I hadn't known he was going to run like that a week before, I'd have been disappointed. But they lost so many horses during Cheltenham. I was just delighted to take my lad home and well, because at the end of the day, you know, winning isn't the be-all and end-all, but we just love this horse, you know.
Well, he's some horse, it's been some day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Now, I have news coming in from Tony McCoy and Mr Mulligan. Horse and jockey are okay. Now, that is the main thing. He said he saw a long stride coming down towards the last. Then he realized the horse wasn't going to get it, so he just steadied. And unfortunately, that paid the penalty, and he came down when in clear second place. And he said, you know, the horse was lame last week, and the work he missed might just have cost him. He was just getting a little bit tired coming to the last. But, well, whether it had beaten one man, that is highly doubtful.
Well, it was really sickening bad luck after the wonderful round that Mr Mulligan had put in. He's really made this race, and his jumping until the last was practically perfect, John, I think.
Yeah, he jumped really well for Tony McCoy. It's the first time that he's been on board this horse, and got a good tune out of him. What impressed me most about the horse was how well he travelled. He was He was cruising, you know, well within himself. And we actually was speaking through the race here, and I just thought at one stage, Richard Dunwoody sat still at the moment. At this point, I'm sure he knows that he's got the horse well within his sights, but I think they're probably about a furlong and a half down the far side. I think he probably would have been thinking, well, I'm not sure what's actually left in the tank. As soon as he gets up sides Mr Mulligan, it's all over then. But I agree with you, really sad and undeserved for him to fall at the last, Mr Mulligan. He put a lot into this race, made it every yard of the running until turning for home. Certainly deserves some second prize money. And going to the last now, if we take the shot that we did originally, this horse just beginning to idle a bit with Richard, and sees a perfect stride, lets him flick over the last, and then Mr Mulligan, time and time again horses fall because they're tired, and that was the only reason he laid down there. And this horse, just have a look at his ears, just backwards and forwards. I just wonder how much left in the tank, or how much he was just idling in front.
Remained a man, who's dead sadly, was third to Shirley Heights in the Derby, only beaten a length and a half, but Remained a Man didn't ever really pass his ability on at stud until he covered the unraced mare Steal On, and this is her first foal. One Man is the first foal of Steal On, who was by General Ironside. Comes from a good family, the same family as the good Irish chaser Wild Hyde, and I remember a mare of Bill Shan Kidd's called Matchboard, who Bill will remember if he's looking in, and if he is, I hope you're going on well, Bill. But that's the penalty, the pedigree of the best 3-mile chaser in England.
Waiting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Patem's first sponsorship of our Christmas festival here at Kempton, and what a splendid day it's proving to be. And a wonderful performance by one man to win the Patem's King George VI Chase. And I'm very pleased to welcome Tim Watts, the chairman of the Patem's Group, to present the trophy. Would you please give a warm welcome to the proud owner of One Man, John Hales.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
That's the best toy he owns, I promise you. You won't find a better toy than that anywhere.
This one's not for sale.
I was about to get on to that subject. Well, honestly,
And there's something too to commemorate the event for the successful trainer, ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Richards.
Thank you very much.
And let's not forget the jockey, Richard Dunwoody.
Get the cup in the middle. The cup in the middle, right? Come on, you're yours, we can hold on. Come on,
Robert.
Draw me back.
And there's the SP on the Patem's King George VI Chase. First number 5, One Man, 13-8 on favourite. Second number 6, Rough Quest at 4-1. And third number 1, Barton Bank at 10-1. The totes, the win paid £1.90, places £1.10 and £2. Dual forecast £2.80, and the straight forecast £3.94. Confirmation of the non-runners: 2 Couldn't Be Better, 4 Narthen Lad, and number 8 Trying Again, 5 ran. Latest news now from Lingfield, the 150, a win for the odds-on favourite there. Number 1, Effervescence, 6-4 on. Second, number 3, Lily Jacques at 33-1. And third, number 4, Sura at 4-1. 4 ran.
Well, One Man is the 9th horse to complete at least 2 wins in the King George. You go back to Halloween and Mandarin in the 50s to go and do it. But just a warning to you, those of you who fancy One Man for the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup, that in recent years King George winners One Man, The Fellow and Desert Orchid have been mighty gambles at the festival after winning the King George in that season, and all have been beaten. And just 5 horses have completed the double in that season. Desert Orchid did it in the 80s. In the 60s it was done by Arkle and Saffron Tartan, and just after the war Limber Hill and Cottage Rakes. Only 5 times has the great 3 mile and 3 1/4 mile championship double been complete, and the bookmakers very divided on One Man. It's an 8 to 1 chance with the sponsors, the Tote. Behave yourself. Let's grow up. 8 to 1 with the Tote is One Man. It's as short as 11 to 2 with William Hill. Now, there is strong opposition to the Tote Gold Cup holder, Imperial Call. Ladbrokes wants you to back it. 9 to 2 with Ladbrokes, only 3 to 1 with the Tote Imperial Call, and 7 to 2 with Hills and Corals. And Rough Quest, who was runner-up, of course, we all forget that nowadays, in the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup, is a 10 to 1 chance with William Hill. It's then 12 to 1 the Hennessy winner, Coombe Hill, 14 to 1 the recent Cheltenham winner, Addington Boy, and 20 to 1 against Mr Mulligan and Doran's Pride. Those are the prices for the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Richard Dunwoody is being quizzed by us scribes here, and answering the stamina question first. Do you think there was something wrong?
We've jumped the last, and he's started. I think he's a little bit idling as well. I said if there had been another fence halfway up the run, then he probably wouldn't have stopped. It's just been left alone for so long. He's deserved to get a little bit tired. We've got a good gallop, and he's well clear. He's left alone.
But Cheltenham,
we will see at Cheltenham. We'll see at Cheltenham hopefully in January.
And what about the Desert Orchid question? What's your answer to that? You've ridden the 2, you're the only man.
Here we go again. They're 2 brilliant horses, and you can't get away from that. They're different characters. They're both very intelligent horses. They've both got a lot of scope. If anything, possibly Desert Orchid is a little bit more powerful, a little bit more extravagant. So this horse also is very intelligent and very, very good.
Richard, let's talk about you as a performer. The 4th King George, you say pressure is something you put on yourself, but how big was this for you down at the start?
I've had decent horses to ride, and you can't go without them. You know, I've lucky I've been sitting in the right place at the right time.
You make it look easy. Well done.
Thanks very much, bro. Cheers. Thank you.
Latest from Lingfield, the 220, first number 1 Royal Carlton, 4 to 1, second number 9 Passage Creeping, the 6 to 5 on favourite, and third number 4 Heaver Golf Eagle at 11 to 1, 9 round.
And on this big Boxing Day card, we're not finished, not by a long chalk, because next is Denoli. Denoli trying to get his fencing sorted out in the big race at Leopardstown in a couple of minutes.
People's Army, all members of the aristocracy are to be arrested. Take him away.
We are the People's Army. All members of the aristocracy are to be arrested.
But comrade, I'm People's Army too.
You expect us to believe that? Take him away.
The mellow taste of Smirnoff Black.
We are People's Army.
Imperial Russia's best-kept secret.
Deirdre Dean has always been one for the sales. When she bought her sofa, she got it for an absolute snip. The toilet roll she bought in bulk. An amazing bargain. Then she went to the Energy Centre sale, where they specialise in gas and electric cooking and heating. And thanks to the expert advice she received, she got a top-quality brand at a bargain price. Well done, Deirdre. The Energy Centre. The right advice, the right price, the right choice. And the sale is on at over 240 shops right now.
When you buy any new Renault Megane Classic, the price includes 3 years warranty, 2 years servicing, and 1 year's road fund licence. That's quite a package. Luckily, the Classic's got quite a boot.
The Megane Classic 321 package. Good thinking, Renault.
The Comet sale is now on. Check out our sale prices in the Comet Price Index in-store now. Better come to the Comet sale.
Relax, relax.
Let your mind drift.
Let your mind drift.
Feel the tension ebb away.
Feel the tension ebb away.
Transport yourself to a new world.
Transport yourself to a new world.
Discover a new you.
Discover a new you.
Rediscover your family.
Rediscover your family.
There's a sale on at over 240 high street energy centres. The right advice, the right price, the right choice. And the sale is on right now.
Speed is the essence now. We have an unconfirmed course record there for one man in the King George. And we go to Ireland now, the Dennis gold medal chase. A really important test for Dunwoody and indeed for Landa Farr, come over from Paul Webber's yard to race there. Let's have the runners and riders for the Dennis gold medal from Simon Holt.
It's over 2 miles and a furlong. The going yielding at Leopardstown this afternoon. They're headed by number 1 Beakstown at 20-1, Garrett Cotter. Number 2 Cross for Nogue at 25-1, John Butler rides. And then number 3 Dunwoody, the 5-2 co-favourite, Tom Tracy in the saddle. Number 4 is Headbanger, David O'Connor's mount at 20-1. 5 Jeffel, another 5-2 co-favourite, and Francis Woods. Number 6 then is Carousel, ridden by Conor O'Dwyer at 11-2. Number 7 is the English raider Landa Farr, second to Mulligan at Sandown last time, remember. Jamie Osborne in the saddle, 5-2 co-favourite. Number 8 Pendara under Charlie Swan at 14-1. And number 9 the Carrigrua, Anthony Powell in the saddle. Carrigrua is 8-1.
There's Dunwoody and Tommy Tracy going down, and this is the crucial moments for Dunwoody, because what we need to know is whether or not that fall has taught him something. He was a bit hesitant at previous time. He doesn't look so far unnatural, but let's take the race live and join our colleagues in RTE, and let's hope Dunwoody gets it together.
He produced them spot on for the big day. This is his big day, 35,000 party or Christmas. Tony Sweeney down in the ring. Anything strange happening?
Yes, we now have co-favourites, as I thought we might have, Ted. 5-2 each of 3, Dunwoody, Jafel and Landa Farr. Carousel has eased another half a point. That's gone out to 6-1. It's 8-1 now, Carrigrua from 7s. And it's 107 bar the 5. But 5-2 each of 3. Take your pick, Ted.
Well, there's Landa Farr. Great to see him over. Nice to see him run well. Obviously, being an Irishman, I'd like to see one of the Irish horses hold on to the prize. But Paul Webber's been a very popular fellow down through the years. Exceptionally good bloodstock agent. A good man to pick a young horse. And I think he's making a good hand of the training since he took over from his dad. And it's nice to see him come for this pot. It's nice to put that bit of interest in to see the English horses coming over. There we have Carousel, another horse who's paid his way well. Bill Hennessy owns this fella. And he's got a great time out of him. Tony Mullins trains him. He's bound to run well. Conor O'Dwyer on board. Tony O'Hare, they look like they're ready to go. Could be a good old gallop. Cross for Nogue will probably make it on the inner.
Cross for Nogue on the extreme right is the first to jump off, with Beakstown in the centre. Dunwoody over towards the left, with Jafel the Grey just behind them as they rise to the first fence. Cross for Nogue from Beakstown, Dunwoody, then Jafel, and they're followed by Headbanger on the inside of Landa Farr, and then the Carrigrua, Carousel, and the second Grey, Pendara, the back marker, as they come up past the stands towards the second fence. And it's Cross for Nogue, Dunwoody in second, jumped the first fence well. Beakstown in 3 and Jafel 4, and then Landa Farr, and they're followed by the Carrigrua. But as they head up now towards the second fence, it's Cross for Nogue, with Dunwoody within about 3 parts of a length, then a gap of 2 lengths or so to Beakstown. Jafel is in 4th, and then Landa Farr. Headbanger the inside, and the Carrigrua and Carousel coming up to the second. Cross for Nogue the leader, runs across the fence a bit. Dunwoody in second, Jafel towards the left, then Beekstown. They're followed by Landafar towards the right of the picture. On the inside of Landafar is Headbanger. Then the Carrigrua, Carasar and Pendara, Charlie Swan in rear. Fence number 3, Crossfarnog again jumps across the fence, but leads from Denoli in second. Jafel is 3. Then Beekstown and Landafar and the Carrigrua, Headbanger, Carasar, and bringing up the rear is Pendara as they go away from the stands. They've jumped 3 fences in this Denny Gold Medal chase. Crossfarnog and John Butler making it. Denoli, Tommy Tracy in second. Jafel on the outside in 3. Beekstown 4, Garrett Cotter, and then Landafar, the English challenger, in 5th. Coming to the 4th fence. Crossfarnog and Denoli got in close to that one, and is out jumped by Jafel. Beekstown is next, and then Landafar and the Carrigrua as they go towards fence number 5. Another plain one, Crossfarnog. Denoli's regained second, Jafel is 3, then Beekstown, Landafar and the Carrigrua, Carasar, Headbanger and Pendara. Crossfarnog the leader, better jump there by Denoli in second, then Beekstown and Jafel. Landafar is 5th and 6th, the Carrigrua, then Carasar and Headbanger. As they come now towards the 6th fence, the first of the ditches, Crossfarnog, Denoli in second. Jafel is next on the outside of Beekstown. Crossfarnog the leader, and Crossfarnog's a faller, leaves Denoli in front of Jafel, and Landafar gone 3rd, and 4th place is Beekstown, then the Carrigrua, Carasar is next. As they run now towards the next fence, and Denoli the leader from Beekstown, Jafel and Landafar. Carasar improving on the outside of the Carrigrua, then Headbanger, and they're clear of Pendara. Running now towards the 4th last. John Butler is on his feet after that fall. Beekstown goes up on the inside to join Denoli. They jump it together. Jafel is 3rd. 4th plays Landafar, a mistake there, dropped back. 4th is the Carrigrua, then Carasar and Headbanger. As they run towards the 2nd and final ditch, Denoli and Beekstown. Jafel is in 3rd. The Carrigrua is close in 4th, and then comes Headbanger. Landafar trying to recover lost ground. At the final ditch now, Beekstown and Denoli. Beekstown the better jump, Denoli 2nd, Jafel 3, and they're followed in 4th place by Headbanger, then the Carrigrua, Landafar, Carasar, and they're a long way clear of Pendara. They've 2 left to jump now in the Denny Gold Medal. Beekstown, Garrett Cotter, red cap alongside Denoli and Tommy Tracy, then Carasar making ground. Jafel is just behind them at the 2nd last. Beekstown and Denoli, and Carasar stumbled on landing and is gone, and it's Denoli and Beekstown. Headbanger, Jafel can't quicken. They're followed by the Carrigrua. Denoli, a huge cheer from the crowd as he hits the front now, coming towards the final fence. Denoli and Tommy Tracy in the lead from Beekstown, then Headbanger. They're followed by Landafar and then the Carrigrua and Jafel as they run to the last in the Denny Gold Medal. Denoli the leader. Denoli and Tommy Tracy in the lead. Jumps it well from Beekstown in second, and then Landafar and Headbanger on the run in. It's Denoli over on the far side from Beekstown, Landafar and Headbanger, and racing up the line. This is more like it. Denoli out in front, running on strongly up to the finish under Tommy Tracy, getting a huge reception from the crowd, and going to the line. Denoli wins it in fine style. Denoli wins it well. Landafar's up for second, Beekstown 3, 4th place Headbanger, then the Carrigrua and Jafel, and they're a long way clear of Pendara, who's last. So that was more like it. Denoli wins it in style. A mistake at the first in the back straight, but he's done it well, Ted. That was more like the old Denoli.
Yes, I completely agree with Tony O'Hare, but of course the old Denoli was over hurdles, he's over fences, he's getting much better at it. He still gets a bit close once or twice, but he'd be much better also over 2.5 and 3 miles. If he continues on like this, he's going to be a very, very formidable 3-mile novice indeed. A great thing to look forward to, and a good run by Landafar. He's a bit windy really, he gives us a lot to do, but he does finish, and he'll be a horse who will win a decent race at some stage. Let's take our last race now. Not a lot of runners here, but there's quality again. We take the list with Graham.
Quality indeed. There are 128 races between them. Greenback at 11-2 is partnered by Norman Williamson. Mr. Drum at 13-8, Richard Dunwoody, the man in form. Potter's Bay, 11-8 favourite Adrian Maguire, and the lineup completed with Sublime Fellow, trading at 11-2, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald.
Well, the best turned out for this went to Sublime Fellow, looked after by Pete Deacon at Nicky Henderson's. Looked magnificent. He got our pick as well. For Graham, it was Mr. Durham, the grey, and Potter's Bay. Also David Nicholson's, well, he was all the rage after a few easy wins down in the betting ring. And Mr. Drum, easy to back. They're in a 4-horse race and with the fact that he's in good form, bound to have some support here this afternoon. Only 4 runners, 2.5 miles. They jump off over on the far side.
And 10 favourites and 20 runnings have won this novice chase, and we have flip-flopping favourites here. Potter's Bay, who was 6-4 second best, is now an 11-8 chance, and they pushed out Mr Drum from up the arm 11-8 to 13-8, and I have heard a 7-4 called against a weakening Mr Drum. It's an 11-2 each and 2, Greenback and Sublime Fellow, with a horse for money on a day that has rocked the bookmakers again. Is Potter's Bay now up the arm 11-8, the horse they're backing.
Unbeaten over fences, Potter's Bay in 3 runs. He hasn't beaten many though. He beat Triple Witching in a match last time and only had 2 opponents at Cheltenham. But before that he won a handicap. His first run over fences was a handicap up at Wetherby. So he jumps and can gallop. We knew that from his hurdle race form, although he had been accused of being a bit reluctant over hurdles, but he's done absolutely nothing wrong in his steeplechasing career so far. And if he could easily do it again today.
He's a horse who likes to bowl along up front, but he'll have company this afternoon because Greenback, who was out through all of last season following a tremendous campaign in 94-95 when he won 8 races, just took a little bit of time to find his feet, but he's back in really good form. Won here, he didn't win here rather, he won at Taunton and also won at Folkestone, and he's a horse who's got plenty of ability.
But the one you like, I know, John, is Sublime Fellow.
I rode him out yesterday morning, and he's a horse you might remember actually fell here last year. He's just at the back of the field getting settled in by Mick Fitzgerald. He ran in the race that Trying Again won. A little bit awkward at that first fence, but he's a horse who's got plenty of ability, and first run at 2.5 miles. I hope they just don't let him go too far away.
And they're all safely over the second fence, which is the first ditch, and it's Mr Drum on the inside. Leads Sublime Fellow sitting in second. They're clear of Greenback and Potter's Bay as they come down towards fence number 3, at which Mr Drum will lead. Stood off it a long way, and Sublime Fellow gave it plenty of daylight in second place. And they arrive quickly at fence number 4, and it's Mr Drum who leads. Mr Drum to Sublime Fellow, and the 2 at the back were a little bit slow there. Greenback the inside of Potter's Bay. Swing right-handed then at the end of the first half mile, and it's the grey Mr Drum who leads by 2 to 3 lengths to Sublime Fellow sitting in second, 6 lengths back to Greenback, and then 4th on the 4 is Potter's Bay. Make the turn that brings him into the home straight, with Mr Drum showing the way, and Sublime Fellow jumps a little bit out to his left there. Come towards fence number 6. As they do so, it's Mr Drum and Sublime Fellow joined on the outside there. Mr Drum 3 lengths back then to Greenback, and a length and a half back to Potter's Bay. Down towards fence number 7 of the 17 they take. Mr Drum very fluent at that one. The economical jumper. Mr Drum clear by about 2 to 3 lengths to Sublime Fellow in second, and then Greenback in third, and Potter's Bay 4th of the 4. So they race away from the stands. You really can't stick a pin in the grandstand anywhere. It's tightly packed, the grandstand. More than can be said for the 4 runners out on the track who take the water jump, with Mr Drum blazing the trail to Sublime Fellow, and then Greenback and Potter's Bay. Down towards this plain fence. And it's Mr Drum and Sublime Fellow, only a length or so in it. Greenback jumped a little bit out to his left. Potter's Bay 4th of the 4. Adrian Maguire quite content to give Mr Drum plenty of start here. This is the 10th. And Sublime Fellow sits in second, and a bold leap there by Greenback, and Potter's Bay still 4th of the 4, and they swing right-handed. They go past their point of departure, and Potter's Bay at 11 to 8, Mr Drum 13 to 8, Greenback at 11 to 2, Sublime Fellow 6 to 1. Head down towards the 7th from home. Potter's Bay just getting a bit closer now. Mr Drum, Richard Dunwoody to Sublime Fellow and Mick Fitzgerald. They finish first and second in the King George, and they're clear of Greenback, who's in third, and Potter's Bay in 4th. 7 more fences to jump, 7 out. Oh, he got in a bit close here, Mr. Drum, Sublime Fellow. And then Greenback and Potter's Bay swimming along in the white jacket. The next one they take, the six from home, is the last open ditch they have to jump. Mr. Drum, the grey, Sublime Fellow the outside, still 1 and 2. Potter's Bay smoothly through into third. And then Greenback just been given a slap down the neck. They've got 5 more to jump, and it's still Mr. Drum who has the edge to Sublime Fellow, and then Potter's Bay and Greenback, and he's just stepped over that nicely, did Mr. Drum. Sublime Fellow looks to have cracked because Potter's Bay and Greenback have gone past him. 4 out this. It's Mr. Drum coming to it, and a little bit awkward there, Potter's Bay. Greenback goes into second now, and that looks the challenger. Then Potter's Bay, and now Sublime Fellow tries to come back for more. So, can you name the winner? They've got 3 to jump in this Network Design International Wayward Lad Novices chase. It's Mr. Drum, Richard Dunwoody, has made every inch of the running so far. Greenback's in second, having looked beaten at one stage. Sublime Fellow with a noseband comes back to share second place and gets competitive. And Potter's Bay now the back marker. Well, all changing. 3 to jump. It's still Mr. Drum out in front. He's over, just nodded a bit on landing. So too did Potter's Bay, and Greenback now comes to press Mr. Drum. Here we are, 2 out. Mr. Drum and Greenback in the air together, touchdown together, and it's Greenback the one that's got the acceleration, and it's Greenback going on. Mr. Drum in second place now. They're clear of the other 2. 1 more to jump. It's Greenback clear by 3 lengths as he comes to the final fence, and he's over safely, but Mr. Drum met it running and is rallying to the call, but Greenback and Norman Williamson are holding Mr. Drum at bay. Potter's Bay to third, up towards the line. It's going to go to Greenback. Greenback wins it. Greenback, Mr. Drum in second, and then Potter's Bay came home in third, and Sublime Fellow in 4. And so the 1, 2, 3, 4 in this Wayward Lad Novices chase is indeed 1, 2, 3, 4. First number 1, second number 2, third number 3, fourth number 4, and the winner pays 11 to 2. And he wins here at Kempton for the 3rd time. There's this Greenback partner today by Norman Williamson. The ever fluctuating fortunes of chasers, because with 5 to jump, this looked the horse that was beaten. Second horse home is Mr. Drum, made the running. Richard Dunwoody rode that one. Third was Potter's Bay. Tastes defeat for the first time over fences, Adrian Maguire's man. And fourth was number 4, Sublime Fellow, ridden by Nick Fitzgerald. But it's all smiles for Storming Norman.
And a few greenbacks if you back the winner. 11 to 2. Second number 2, Mr. Drum at 13 to 8, and third number 3, Potter's Bay, the 11 to 8 favourite. 4 round. And now confirmation of Denoli's impressive win in the Denny Gold Medal chase at Leopardstown. First number 3, Denoli, 5 to 2 joint favourite. Second number 7, Lander Far at 3 to 1, and third number 1, Beakstown at 20 to 1. Number 5, Jeffel was the other 5 to 2 joint favourite. 9 round.
His 11th win, and a real fine certainty he is, and goodness, Norman Williamson's a danger as a freelance. He's an exceptional pilot. We'll be back with you in 60 seconds.
Quello che vuole, basta che fili.
The House of Fraser winter sale starts tomorrow at 8:30. With big reductions on famous names all around the store, it's clearly a cut above the rest.
When you're looking for an epic night out, look for this sign. Because where you looked for Access, now you'll find MasterCard.
Welcome back here to Kempton, and as the sun goes down, let's get ourselves up to date with the winners from Kempton, from Simon Holt.
Yes, it began at 12:40, and an epic battle there between San Martino and Secret Spring. Number 11, San Martino, the winner at 100-30. The 110, Francois Duman again on the mark at Kempton on Boxing Day, this time with number 3, Jeddah at 9-2. In the 140, the well-backed number 3, Albemine, the winner, 6-4 favourite. The 215, one man winning the King George for the second year running, 13-8 on. And in our last race, the 245, it went to number 1, Greenback at 11-2. News on today's champion tipster competition. Pretty low scoring day. Maximum points available 76, and we're looking for claims of 70 points or more. It's on 09090 100 366. 09090 100 366 for your claims. Lines open until midnight.
And we have a clocking for the King George, a 5:45.3, the fastest ever running here over the 3-mile track. Let's have the full SP2 from Simon.
Yes, first number 5, One Man, 13-8 on favourite. Second number 6, Rough Quest at 4-1, and third number 1, Barton Bank at 10-1. The non-runners 2, 4, 8. They were, of course, Couldn't Be Better, Now Then Lad, and Trying Again. 5 ran. And now the result on the Denny Gold medal chase again. First number 3, Danoli, 5-2 joint favourite. Second number 7, Lander Far, 3-1. Third number 1, Beakstown at 20-1. Number 5, Jeffel, the 5-2 joint favourite. With the winner, 9 ran.
So Danoli back to form, and after the race, Tracy Piggott put it to Danoli's trainer Tom Foley that it must have been a big relief.
Yet it opens a good few doors for us now anyhow, when it's possibly put more pressure on us now to know what we go for if we go to Cheltenham.
And what springs to mind straight away? Where can you see him going now? Going to give him a bit of a break?
No, we'll possibly come back here the 2nd of February for the big race here, and we'll see what will happen.
There is a precautionary inspection here tomorrow at 10 a.m, but we are scheduled to be with you and to bring you some exciting racing live. Let's have the details from Simon.
Yes, a cold night is forecasted. As you said, Bruff, the precautionary inspection here at Kempton at 10 o'clock. The ground will have got a bit chewed up today, one would think. Abandoned meetings, though, Chepstow and Leicester. There are 7:30 inspections tomorrow at Musselburgh and Wetherby, but no problems reported on the all-weather at Southall. And now moving on to Saturday, Folkestone, there'll be an inspection at midday tomorrow. At Huntingdon, one at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Newbury report frost in the ground. More frost is forecast. No inspection planned as yet, however. We've no news from Newcastle. There's just a telephone answering service there at the moment. They're probably sitting in watching Channel 4 racing. And Wolverhampton, no problems on their all-weather service.
Provided we survive the inspection, I don't feel terribly optimistic myself at the moment, but anyway, provided we get through that, we've got 4 races for you live, starting with the Dumas Raider. Beware of a horse called, I can't read its name, yes, Moi Pas Nuit. Is it Moi Pas Nuit? Vol Pas Nuit. It's Vol Pas Nuit. Francois Dumas, ridden by his son in the novices chase, amateur rider race at 110. There are 6 who go in that. And then in the Potemps Network Handicap Chase, 5 go in that. The big race of the day, the Potemps Christmas Hurdle. Alderbrook does not run, but 9 do. And finally, we have 5 runners in the Handicap Chase.
Tipster competition tomorrow on those 4 live races, beginning at 1:10. Usual rules apply. The number to call 0891 991148. 0891 991148. Lines are open at 6 o'clock this evening. And a reminder now of the runners in tomorrow's Christmas Hurdle, headed by Bimsey, who ran so well the other day. Chief Song, Dato Star, Dreams End and Master Bevel. No jockey yet for him. Pridwell, Right Win, Zabadi and Miss Dingat. Good race.
We were lucky to have racing today. We've beaten the weather, and we were lucky to see a really outstanding performance. We've had great days in the past here, Desert Orchid days, Wayward Lad days, but we have here at Kempton had a real one-man day. Last year was at Sandown, but he was back at Kempton, one man, and Richard Dunwoody, and we can leave you with an interesting thought, because Richard won it, first jockey ever to win it 4 times. So one man, Richard Dunwoody, record breakers both.
place, and as he races up towards the line, it's one man clear by 12 to 15 lengths, and up the line, one man is going to take it, Pushkar, but he wins it. One man is the winner. Rough Quest an honourable second.
The Channel 4 Racing Diary for 1997, containing all the big race dates, is available from all the usual retail outlets. Price £5.25.